Hey, whoa, hey, hello, welcome back to Everything in Poderation, because sometimes the internet can be too much. I am Colin Sparling, and I know I've talked about the fact that I'm from Ohio, but please don't ask me if I went to school with Jake or Logan Paul. Just don't. Because they are the opposite of the pride of Ohio.
Hi, I'm Robert. Hey, Colin, did you go to school with Jake or Logan Paul?
Who?
I'm Daly, and I did indeed actually go to school with this guy named Logan Paul. He was a good dude, though. Totally not related to the one that's on the internet.
Yeah, that's got to be unfortunate, because like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, such common names.
Yeah. Shout out to Paul people that don't want to be associated to the Paul brothers.
I feel like Jake and Logan are like two of the most common white dude names, along with like Tyler and Josh.
From Ohio, yes.
And Derek.
Derek
is up there, but I don't think it's to the level of a Jake or Logan.
Josh.
I think I went to school with at least 10 or 15 other Jakes and Logans.
A lot of Connors.
And I went to a small school, so I'm just saying. But that's all that is to say is today we are talking about shitty people on the internet. Woohoo!
Sorry if you had any of the previously mentioned names, because now it sounds like we're lumping you into the bucket of shitty people.
Guilt by association. Go get your names legally changed.
Yeah, change it to a good name like Adolf.
Yeah, because that's legal in Germany. It's not.
I don't think it is.
It's not.
Well, if you were expecting positivity this week, I apologize in advance, because last week we did do a pretty positive episode in the our favorite people on YouTube, the best people on YouTube, etc. And that was a lot of positivity, but we had to do the flip side of the coin and talk about the people that aren't exactly putting positive messages out there, or dangerous messages, or actually harming people. Those people exist on the internet, and sometimes you do have to acknowledge them.
This is a call out post.
Yeah. This is a call-out callcast.
We're casting.
I guess we should blanketly say at the top that we're actually not going to be, because I feel like it would be pretty easy to say like politician A, B, or C, right? Because
all those
politicians
guys
are online, they're on social media, and they don't necessarily, I wouldn't say they count in this context is really what I'm getting at.
Yeah, politician, MTG. Any of the politicians, really, you could name most politicians, they'd be pretty bad.
Yeah. So we're not gonna veer too hard into the whole political spectrum. There's gonna be a little bit of that, but like, because that's just what happens. But no. So politicians are exempt for this particular episode.
Not to give away mine, but like mine isn't a politician. But we're not veering away from politics.
Yeah, no, we're definitely not veering away. It's going to be hard to avoid.
Believe it or not, you can find shitty people in politics.
Mm-hmm. I also want to throw out here on the top, I think we all made the conscious decision of only bringing one person to the table, as opposed to the two last week, because the thing is, it's probably, like we've been saying, it's really easy to find bad people on the internet. And I'm sure you... after listening to this episode, you probably will have like, oh, they didn't say this person or that person. Trust me, we probably might agree with you that they're pretty bad. I think we just all want an excuse to talk about these people and why they're a little dangerous. And if you are a fan of these people, maybe why you should reconsider or challenge your fandom of them in a way.
Or if you've never heard of these people, probably steer clear. Unless you like volatility and toxicity and I don't know, give me another big bad word.
Shittiness.
Fascism.
Yeah.
All right. We said the same thing, Robert.
Here we go.
Stop copying my answers.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, we are going to start with Robert. So Eddie did throw out the F word already. So
Fuck.
that would actually probably be better and less controversial. Some reason.
I guess we'll start swinging hard. Ben Shapiro, call out post. Ben Shapiro. I don't know. There are probably a lot of other videos out there already talking about Ben Shapiro. You may or may not already know all of the not so great things he does, but I still think he wins at being one of the worst people on the internet. So that's winning something. And honestly, for me, where the crux of my dislike of him comes from isn't that I disagree with his politics. I mean, I do disagree with most of his politics, but what I have more issue with is the way he presents himself and he presents his politics. Because I'm sure you've heard facts don't care about your feelings. Have you've heard those before?
Yes, those other F words, facts, feelings.
Mm-hmm. And facts, feelings, and fascism. A book
facts,
by Ben
feelings,
Shapiro.
fascism.
Yeah. And even if you haven't listened to Ben Shapiro, I'm sure if you've lurked on the internet long enough, you've at least absorbed some of what he says via osmosis or just other posts on Reddit or YouTube, whatever it is. Like you've heard him say or heard about the stupid shit he's done. So
yeah.
Even if he wasn't talking about stupid shit, it is he's very condescending about all things.
He is. And we should say too that it's not really so much like Robert said that his conservative views aren't necessarily an issue. They can get a little problematic, sure, but like it's the way he presents the information, it's the way he goes about it, and it's the way in which sometimes he argues only to win an argument, and he doesn't really argue in good faith or debate in good faith when he's talking about others too.
Debate me. I will destroy you as long as you're a freshman in college and are ill prepared for this debate I'm about to throw at you. And that's where his whole argument kind of breaks down, because he's a really big pusher. He's a big fan of Judeo-Christian values, and he wrote that one book with a really stupid long name, The Right Side of History: How Reason and Moral Purpose Made the West Great. Which
the West.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Capital W West.
Yeah, the Big West. And in that book, he argues that America, especially in the past few decades, has been straying away from its core Judeo-Christian values, and that is leading to us feeling less happy and fulfilled as Westerners, but specifically as Americans. And I guess the thing I don't like about it most, I mean, I'm a very secular person. I haven't been in a church for religious reasons in 15 years at least. I will burn in hell, and I'm okay with that. Religion, guys, spoiler alert, controversial take. Religion is a feelings-based belief system.
What? No, it's based in facts.
What?
Robert, my Bible says otherwise, okay?
My Bible that my parents handed down to me. And look, if you believe in your Lord and Savior, or if you believe in Allah, if you believe in whatever, that's fine. I think having faith is something that makes us human. It's what's gotten through some really dark times in human history, and it's probably what's gotten you through some dark times in your personal life. And I think that's fantastic. However, you have to recognize, especially if you're trying to be a facts-first person who's driven by facts and logic that you use to destroy people, you can't have written a book about a feelings-based religious belief system and claim it as fact. Because that is a dangerous, slippery slope that can lead to people thinking in absolutes. It's the same reason a lot of people like crusaded in the dark age. You heard about those crusades where the Jesus guys were like, hey, those Allah guys are bad.
Let's take back the homeland or whatever. Jesus's hometown. Let's go.
Crusade, is that like a competitor to Gatorade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Delicious. Yeah. They sent children to do that too. They were like, let's have some kids do a crusade. No one's going to fight children. And then all the children died.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not surprising. I mean, there was kids fighting in the Civil War here in the States. So
yeah. And I'm not saying that Ben Shapiro is arguing for the Crusades again. That's ludicrous, right? But it feels like there isn't much nuance in the way he's portraying himself when it comes to being a facts-driven person who thinks Judeo-Christian values are the correct way to live. Those are two very conflicting concepts that are nested in much more nuance than the absolutism of facts. Because if he truly were a purely facts-driven person, like facts don't care about your feelings kind of person, he wouldn't believe in any God, because facts, evidence, and proof dictate that there is no God, right? Like, we haven't seen a big man, woman, or thing descend from the clouds and do anything, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. Every morning I see this big woman come down from the sky,
Oh yeah.
and it's great. It's a
I
good
mean,
time.
If it was Aretha Franklin, I'd actually be pretty happy about that because Aretha Franklin fucking rules. But
Same.
everyone wants to party
So-
with Aretha.
So,
Anyway.
Mr. Shapiro, he basically seems to conflate Christianity with the success of modernism, question mark, like where the West has gone.
In a way, yeah. I would specify Judeo-Christian values because he's Jewish himself, right? So I think he's going to argue for both of those. His book doesn't say anything about Hinduism or Islam. So,
Yeah.
maybe those aren't religions to him. I don't know. Who's to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it vaguely alludes to one of the greater hypocrisies of the ideals of the United States as a country. And I know it's like kind of a big statement, but like the idea of the States, especially if you're like, say, an immigrant coming here, the stuff that you're fed if you're someone who's coming to the States is that the United States of America is a melting pot, right? You have a country that is culturally diverse with people from all over the world, which is true, especially in bigger cities. And people are free to practice their beliefs, free to, well, freedom of speech, really, and basically, believe whatever they want to believe. And stating that we're getting away from only one set of beliefs is hypocritical to me. Because the United States theoretically is supposed to be made of a bunch of different belief systems, and everyone's supposed to be okay with that. Now, that's hypocritical majorly because we've had a government that's basically foundationally always been Christian in some way, shape, or form, right? We've never really had any sort of other major religion in the White House or in Congress. Well, in Congress, maybe, but
I
definitely
thought
not in the White House.
Obama was a Muslim, though.
He also wasn't born in America, guys. Right?
Yeah. Wait, was he actually a Muslim?
No. His middle name is Hussein, and that's like the
Yeah.
one thing that people go off of. They're like, his middle name is Hussein, and it's like a good portion of the world's population's middle name is Hussein.
Yeah,
Like-
I've been hearing like he practices Islam being thrown around so much that I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't even know anymore.
I mean, I think it says a lot that it's like, look, don't get me wrong. I like that Joe Biden is in the big office. I think he's better than the other guy. I think it says a lot that it's big news that Joe Biden is the second Catholic president ever. Like that's
Ever?
the level of diversity we have
Ever.
in the presidency.
Wasn't it Protestants otherwise? Is that
Mostly,
right?
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I think believe all of them were Christian of some kind. The only other Catholic was JFK.
I believe, yeah, it was JFK.
Wow.
And that was a big
Yeah,
deal.
But that aside, I mean, back to Robert's point, like, yeah. So it's just hypocritical to even believe that in the first place when we're supposed to be a whole mixing pot of beliefs.
Yeah.
And values.
And he has just like weird beliefs about science, it seems, as well. Obviously, that reflects in his weird bringing religion into it. But like, I know there was like the whole rant he had about like, well, if global warming is a thing, then just sell your houses
And move away.
and
Yeah,
move
if
away.
there's flooding, just sell your houses.
Yeah,
you know?
sell your flooded home
Yeah,
and move away.
right? Duh.
yeah. And not to bury the lead, I guess, but this whole religious debate and now the global warming debate, those are just examples or signifiers of Shapiro's larger problem in the way he engages in the free market of ideas, in that he likes to pretend he's someone that engages in your ideas. Like debate me, right? That's what he's always about. Like, come on my
Debate
show,
me.
we'll debate. AOC, come on my show, let's talk, right?
Send me feet pics.
That too. And that's given him this this reputation that even the New York Times have described him as, and I'm quoting these, the cool kids philosopher the provocative gladiator, the voice of the conservative millennial movement. Like, he's a thought leader, right? Because
he's a thought.
I mean, it's up to you. If your pussy's dry enough, I'm sure he'll be a thought for you.
There it is. I was waiting for that to come up.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
His whole shtick is, I pretend that I'm going to engage with your ideas. That's what makes me such a good voice in the conservative movement, is because I take a look at these liberals, I listen to their arguments, and then I destroy them with my facts and logic that are not nested in feelings, because I don't have feelings. But he does have feelings, and he doesn't listen to the other side, and he doesn't really destroy them with facts or logic. He destroys them with logical fallacies. He destroys their arguments that he puts in their mouth to then make them look dumber than they actually are.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying earlier with, like, you know, he just doesn't argue in good faith. He doesn't debate. He's not there to listen to the other side and actually, you know, gain new perspective and maybe even change his own viewpoints even slightly. He's there to hear out someone and then try to thwart them and prove them wrong.
Humiliate them. Exactly. And in the process accidentally reveal that he does not sexually satisfy his wife.
He does, Daily. She's told him he does.
She's a doctor. Yeah. Right. She should know. Yeah. Absolutely. Sorry.
We should actually tell the audience this story because it's pretty ridiculous.
Oh, okay. WAP came out. You know that big TikTok song? So that came out, and of course all the conservative pundits were mad because why that's so dangerous for the radio waves to sing a song about wet ass pussy.
Censor yourself, Robert. Jeez.
Wet. And so
it's worse. It's somehow worse.
It's fine. We're already demonetized. It's fine. It's fine.
And he was. It wasn't just, oh, my conservative values are being challenged by sex. He was also thinking my values of how I understand the human anatomy are also being challenged. So he asked his doctor wife, who is, of course, a doctor, so she knows things and stuff, facts and logic, some might say, and asked if that thing down there actually should be wet often. And she said, no, of course not, honey. No, it's always dry. That's the best way.
Fuck. Gentlemen,
I really
if you didn't know.
Yeah. I really hope all that for his sake is a misquote, but...
The recent song has it more correct than I suppose Ben Shapiro's beliefs, and oh no, you have something wrong with you if you're stimulated to the point that there's any sort of moisture.
Yeah, that's unhealthy.
Moist.
Yeah, and so that is just an example of him being dumb. But
he's a dumb man.
He does a lot of things that are like the straw man. You guys familiar with the straw man argument? Fallacy.
Don't use straws. They hurt turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So straw man, a good example is when Black Panther came out. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. When Black Panther came out, it was like the biggest deal at the time, right? Like, I think it came out around that time, or at least how I remember it was Marvel movies were still good, but they were kind of like, okay, same old. I get it. Like, I've seen one, I've seen them all. And then Black Panther came out, and it felt different because, it had a very black culture to it, and it actually made black people feel seen for once. And I think it's a great thing. I mean, I like the film on its own, but I also like what the film has done in society. Mm-hmm. Ben mocked the film's success because he compared it to he did a straw man where he made it sound like these snowflake liberals who have been arguing for Black Lives Matter, or I guess at the time, just general more equality and equity for black people, right? He argued that the left was trying to say that Black Panther's success is more valuable than the civil rights movement or the abolishment of slavery. Yeah, which I don't think anyone on the left was saying that, but he tried to make it sound like, oh, all these people are celebrating Black Panther so much. Yeah, but why weren't they celebrating Black this much when Rosa Parks sat on a bus? And it's like, what?
What?
this is a great example as to where I just straight up don't understand the mental gymnastics that happen there.
Some flips going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's pretty wild, and it's like, dude, just let people have this. Like, like just let people have things.
When he makes that argument, he's trying to goad you into saying, but no, Black Panther is a good movie. You know, he's trying to make you defend the movie. But the answer isn't defending the movie, because if you defend the movie, then you're proving his point of you're saying, yeah, the movie is good and better than the civil rights movement and the Emancipation Proclamation, right? When in reality, the argument there is they're both good things, just at a different magnitude and different scale. Like, it's good that the slaves were freed. That is really good. But it is also good that Black people can go see a movie, a major blockbuster mainstream movie by Disney, and feel seen because most of the cast and the crew and director were Black for once out of, the millions of other white people movies.
Can't have more than one God good forbid. Thing at a time. Actually, that's the law. So,
okay.
I don't. It's just facts. I don't care how you feel about it. Just facts. Only one good thing at a time.
My question is like, in cases like that, what's his agenda? Just to win? Like, what do you gain by doing such arguments?
You gain the reputation of being the the liberal killer. Yeah, the lib owner. It's like, if I can prove that the liberals were dumb for supporting Black Panther, I make myself look like I can destroy the liberals on any of their arguments, right?
That sounds it's so childish. It's like the kid that would like bully another kid just to look cool in front of his friends.
Yeah. But
that's kind of the way it comes off.
I mean, that's kind of like
politics.
His presence on YouTube, wasn't it mostly at the beginning, like the lib getting owned, destroyed by facts and logic stuff? It's just something to make someone else look dumb.
Right. Well, Daily wasn't I'm thinking of Steven Crowder.
Louder. Chowder.
What the fuck's
Louder
his name?
with Steven Crowder. Louder.
Yeah, because he was that that was just like whatever, changed my mind.
Changed my mind.
On a college campus.
I think he used a lot of similar tactics in the fact that it's like, I'm not here to like actually get my mind changed about anything. I'm just here to make a statement and then get you angry about it and then be like, look at this snowflake.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a similar idea to what you're saying about Ben Shapiro, Robert. So, yeah.
And I think what makes him just so dangerous, which is why I'm nominating him as one of the worst people, is that
Nemesis.
He does have a following, and there are a lot of people who, if they've listened this far, think we're all idiots and just don't get it, or we're liberal, brainwashed fools who refuse to see the truth. We're not red-pilled enough to understand Ben's intellect. And that's the unfortunate thing, is that Ben does come off very intelligent. Like, if you just hear him, like, he talks fast. And he pulls out
he's a fast talker.
He do the speak fast, and he pulls out facts and references sometimes. He says the word Aristotle sometimes, so he knows things. And
several syllables.
Yeah. And when he does that, it's really easy, especially when he's owning the libs. It's really easy to start feeling like, yeah, he's fighting for my beliefs in the marketplace of ideas, and I want to support him. And anyone who disagrees with him is wrong. And I would never debate Ben Shapiro, which sounds like I'm scared of being proven wrong, but it's really more so because I know that no matter what I say, he's going to twist my facts to make my facts look dumb. So his facts that are founded in feeling, let's be honest, Ben, look better than mine, right? And that's how he would win. And I don't debate enough to have the mental fortitude, I guess, to work on that on the fly. So I know I would get destroyed by Ben, but that doesn't mean I'm wrong,
absolutely. Even just listening if you listen to Ben talk for just even a short amount of time, the way he debates is like, I'm going to make 5 different fucking points and you should be able to debate all of them. And I know I just fit all of that in there and into like a 1 minute span of talking, but I expect you to like go through every single one of my points and be able to argue on all of them.
And in the moments that he has had, and like, dare I say, like an equal master debater, I will use that phrase as liberally as I want to. Like, he was on some kind of interview with a guy from the BBC, and he just like kind of rage quitted it, didn't he? He was like, well, actually, you're accusing me of things and I'm offended. Goodbye.
Yeah, he was trying to say, like, you're just trying to gotcha me and I don't respect that. And it's like, or maybe he's just gotchaing you because you are inconsistent.
So even in the occasions that people have like taken the master debater bait and debated him, it's fruitless. There's no point.
Absolutely. And yeah, well, I definitely like to start moving on from Ben Shapiro, because I think, Daily, you have a pretty similar person too, right?
Very similar. Some would say it looks like Ben with a wig.
Oh, I wondered for a hot minute there. I flip-flopped between 2 people for this one, but let's do some let's get classical up in here. So I would nominate Abigail Shapiro as my terrible person on the internet. And first off, I'm not even going to mention like her own beliefs or the content that she puts out, but how the content was proliferated throughout the YouTube space when she came into kind of the public eye. She's more new to talking about how people should live their lives and what feelings they should feel about facts and facts that are not facts. But anyway, when she first appeared on the YouTube scene, she made a YouTube channel called Classically Abby, and it was kind of just like, how should you live your life in a classical and conservative way? It's like, okay, yeah, there's tons of those channels on YouTube already, but she pumped so much money into making her entire videos into ads that they showed up everywhere. Like, I obviously don't subscribe to many, if any, of her beliefs, but I was getting like her videos in front of other videos that I was actually trying to watch. And it was just like,
working the algorithm on you?
It was just working. It was everywhere. Like, everyone was complaining, like, okay, who is this like Ben Shapiro lookalike that I'm constantly getting in my feed? Who is, like, I'm getting all these Classically Abby ads. And if any YouTuber, regardless of content, had done that, it's a pretty shitty thing to do, I think, to just like force your content onto people. Like, I understand we're all out here hustling, but it's a pretty shitty move.
Like, to take politics out of it, could you imagine if, like, Colin, if you were watching a Happy Console Gamer video and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see what games he picked up this week, and then in front of it is like a 2-minute PewDiePie, like, not like, it's just a video of PewDiePie playing I don't give a fuck, and that's the ad. It's not like for a product. It's just like, hey, you like gamers? Check out this other gamer. The better.
I've seen that. I've definitely seen that. Like, ads actually kind of similar to that. It's like they're shoving another YouTube video in front of my current video, and I actually have to skip it because it's like 3 or 4 minutes long.
It wasn't even like her, like, she had like an ad video where it's like, hey, if you like this, then you'll like my channel. It was just like, let's jump straight into it. Here's what's wrong with modern women. And what's wrong with modern women is that you subscribe to the idea that, you know, you can do whatever you want, when in actuality that just leads to doing a whole lot of trashy things that make you degrade your own body and make you less valuable in your obvious pursuit of biblical womanhood.
Hello, welcome to Ben Shapiro.
Traditional, you're right. It isn't biblical. I'm thinking of Girl Defined on that one, but traditional womanhood, which just happens to look a whole lot like biblical womanhood.
But
does she talk about?
But it's not.
Can't show ankle.
There's a lot of content about modesty, which I think is, again, it just comes down to do what you want, but she continually brings up the suggestion that if you do that, if you just kind of if you just wear sweats, if you just wear what you feel like, if you just do those kind of things, that other people are going to A, look down on you for it, and B, internally, you're not fulfilling a role that you should be.
Fulfilling a role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
Yikes.
Us women folk, there's certain things that we're expected to do, and I guess we have to take responsibility for that. Rather than just be like, hey, society, can I not do that?
Yeah, and what bothers me about that is it lies in where and how you find her. Because I don't think we would even be talking about her if her content just existed on YouTube on its own. Because that's fine. If you want to be a trad wife, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like, there are people, there are women out there that want to be just, can't wait to lock down the husband, stay at home, raise the kids, cook, clean the house. Like, that's what fulfills you. That's what fulfills you. I'm not here to shame trad wives.
Right.
The thing is, she's advertising herself in a way that's like, that's the only way a woman can and should be.
Yeah. There's the suggestion that if you're unhappy, it's because you're not fulfilling a role that has been set out for you, whether you believe that that's been from a religious standpoint or a societal standpoint. But regardless, you shouldn't fight against that. At your core, at all times, should be the family and fulfilling your role toward the family, regardless of whether or not you personally are like, I want a family or not. It assumes a lot. It assumes that you are going to take on a very traditional position in a presumably heterosexual relationship.
Yeah, I would actually be interested in hearing Ben or Abby talk about their upbringing, because it sounds like they must have been brought up fairly conservative if these are the type of beliefs that they hold. You know what I'm saying? The atomic family, this is all very conservative atomic family, 1950s type shit.
Yeah. Which people, if you want to do that, if you want to make content about that, cool. Be yeah, so this is what I do every day to make sure that I'm fulfilling my role toward my husband and toward my family, and how I keep, the idea that, yeah, I can go out of the home and work, but at the end of the day, my loyalty, all my efforts should be toward sustaining the family unit. That's cool. That's admirable even, but that doesn't have to be for everyone.
No.
Yeah, doing that doesn't nullify the value of a woman who, likes to be single or wants to be in a homosexual relationship without kids or wants to be a single mother. Those are all equally valid ways to be a woman, as are millions of other ways that, are just examples I can throw out. But
people be people.
People do people things. So to say that a heteronormative, cisgender, antiquated American dream way of being a woman, a classic woman, a traditional woman, is the only way. It's kind of yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the common thread between Ben and Abby both, is that they have a lot of blanket assumptions and beliefs as to this is how people should live in this country, and I won't hear otherwise. It just feels very insulated and just, I don't know. It feels, I don't know. It's like an alternate reality that they would prefer that the world would be.
That's the thing here, is that the reality that they're talking about is fairly widespread. They're embedded in society is a lot of conservative beliefs, both about what men and women should be doing and how we should be going about, our politics, etc., even what we do in the home. But the tone that they both take is that this way of life, this classic or traditional conservative way of life, is under attack and it needs to be defended, and that being conservative, having these beliefs, is as, you know, as difficult as it is to live as a gay person or a queer person or in this, because that was one of my favorite videos of hers, was coming out as conservative. And it's like, okay, you know, the phrase coming out wouldn't exist without the scores of queer people that have had to come out, and that there's actually consequences to that. Whereas if you come out as conservative, maybe you have some social consequences in that your friends are like, oh, okay, but more than likely, what's going to happen? Someone's going to unfriend you on Facebook. Oh no.
Guys, are you guys going to make me say it? I can't believe we haven't said it yet.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Come on, guys. It's the P word, you know, drum roll, privilege.
Oh,
hey.
right.
Oh, it's white privilege. It's white privilege.
That doesn't exist. That's the liberals made up that word to make themselves into victims about everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny. I feel like both sides make themselves victims about everything in different ways, right? But what's so funny about the conservative movement is I think the reason why maybe that conservatives feel a little, like Abby, for example, feel a little scared about coming out as conservative is because there are a lot of conservative values that are explicitly saying you can't have those liberal values. I can think of very few liberal values that are like, if you're a man, you can't marry a woman. You have to be gay.
You have to.
Or you
That's
have
the real gay agenda all along.
Yeah, or you have to transition and be a trans woman, and then you can marry. Well, you have to marry a man. You know, it's like I can't think of many liberal agendas that are like that. Whereas a conservative agenda tends to be, I'm probably heteronormative, I'm probably cisgender, and I'm probably going to marry the opposite sex. You should too. You know?
Join me. Join us.
See, that's where we get into issues, is because, you know, mostly it's just like, yeah, that was always allowed. You can do whatever you want. It's a free fucking country. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to live your life a certain way and you're not doing any, like, you're not harming anyone else, you know, you're not obstructing anyone else's way of life, that's fine. You can do whatever the fuck you want, you know? The problem is when you get into the realm of like, I'm going to shove my beliefs on other people, right? And I think that everybody else should live this way too. Like, I don't understand why I'm the only one living this way, and people are telling me to like stop shoving these beliefs down other people's throats or whatever. And like, I feel offended. Like, I feel like I need to come out as conservative. Like, it's a huge event thing now. And now I'm going to compare it to all these other things like race and sexuality and things like that. And I think that some of it in my head stems from religion, because there's a lot of religions, especially in Christianity, where you're told to preach your beliefs. You know what I'm saying? You're told to convert people. You're told to, you know, retell the word of the Lord and regale people in the tale of Christ and blah, blah, blah. And get them to follow the Lord. So I think a lot of themes here and a lot of values and beliefs stem from some of that.
Yeah.
And I want to say too, if you're a conservative listening to us, and you are one of those people, I hope many conservatives out there who are straight would marry and or are married to the opposite sex and subscribe to those beliefs, but you're also cool with gay people getting married or queer people being queer, trans people being trans. Say so. Let people know, you know, break this weird stereotype a lot of liberals have about conservatives, where all conservatives think all conservatives think that liberals can't, or queer people can't live the way they want to live, because that is at the core of this. And I'd like to hope optimistically that there are enough or more conservatives out there that do firmly believe in the whole freedom of speech and the freedoms that the American flag gives us, and say, yeah, I don't agree with gay life. I would never kiss another man, but they want to do the kiss and marry. That's on them. That's their way of life.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, even if you don't want to, you know, speak out about it, just mind your own business and there won't be any problems. You can still live your life. Like, no one's gonna, fucking, come down on you for living that way, especially if it's just whatever. You're just minding your own business.
But that's the way it is now. That's why conservatives have to come out and be proud of who they are, because no one else is going to, or something like that. Something. Yeah. That's what I got out of Abby's very brave coming out video.
Very brave. I mean, she comes off to me as someone who, like, I have to come out and say I'm conservative because I'm afraid I might offend you, because I'm going to say I don't think the way you live your life is the correct way to live life in the eyes of the Lord, or in the eyes of traditional wifehoodness. So I'm coming out. I'm very brave. I'm coming out and telling you to change your life for me. Thanks.
Yeah, if you could just change your life, that would be great.
Yeah.
But I'm the brave one here.
Other people making other people do things, I think, is what
it
comes down to.
Yeah, and again, like, just want to say that, like, it really does sound like we're hating on conservatives a little bit, but I blanket statement. I don't want to blanket statement all conservatives, because that's what Ben Shapiro does with a lot of liberals. And if we were to all, like, blanket statement all conservatives, that wouldn't really make us that much better, So I just want to say, like, just like the liberal side of things, being conservative is also a spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Well, all of politics is a spectrum.
All of politics is a spectrum. There's no just Republican or Democrat. There's a reason why so many Democrats and Republicans all hold different beliefs. And the reason why they're in that party is because it's the only way they can get elected into office, because third party just isn't viable. I mean, if you're going to tell me Bernie Sanders is a fucking Democrat, you're out of your mind. Like, truly a Democrat.
Yeah, obviously he's a fascist Republican.
He's a mitten.
Right.
Yeah. I think Daly and mine are both of our worst people here are definitely, like, on the conservative side of things. And I hope that what you're getting out of this isn't that we necessarily disagree with their conservative values. It's more that we disagree with the way they preach their conservative values, as if they should be everyone's values, regardless of their upbringing and nurture, nature, etc. Because that's not how really anything works.
Yeah.
No.
There's definitely, and on, I guess, like, the question mark other side, there's, preachy vegan CrossFitters that I'm sure would also fit in as, like, saying that you're not living your life right unless you're doing this, and you're a terrible person, and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, that's equally as annoying. I'm mostly it's people that annoy me.
It's also,
I brought Abby
that's what it boils
table.
down to. It's really about how you preach your beliefs. Yeah, because there's, shit, dude, get on Twitter and there's plenty of people that are like, oh, like, I believe A, B, and C, and if you don't believe this, then, like, fuck you. Like, get out of my face. Unfollow me. I want nothing to do with you. Like, same idea. It's really not that much different. It's just on the complete opposite side, Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you disagree with us, fuck you.
Fuck you. Unfollow.
Fuck you. Unfollow. Unsub.
Unsubscribe. Blocked. All that shit. Nah, it's real dumb. I don't know. It's tough being on the internet, man, because sometimes the
internet can be too much.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I create other content on the internet too. I do some writing and editing and all that stuff. But the reason I like doing podcasts a lot is that we have this forum to express our beliefs. And I honestly still feel even then that I don't express my beliefs enough. And I feel like it's really easy to take some of the things I say out of context. I wonder if you two feel the same sometimes. But with this podcast, we at least have an hour to explain ourselves more. Like, if we just tweeted out a line from this podcast, not great. The replies would be awful.
Send me feet pics is the line that I'm going to tweet out.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Note to self, make sure we tweet that with this episode.
I mean, we did an entire episode about porn manhwa. So
that's true. And I will say, just some deep lore here. I know when we were starting this podcast, we made a joke about onlyfeet.com as, like, an OnlyFans thing for feet. It's now, real. whenever I type the letter O in Google, it autofills to onlyfeet.com. Still. Which isn't a site. I probably should have bought it by now, but
welcome to your new reality.
Thank you. Anyway,
bro, I mean, you got GME stock, you know, so might as well just go on an OnlyFeed. You know, you're on your up and up right now. You could toss your GME money into OnlyFeed.
No, I've got it. Diamond hands, man. I gotta stay until it hits 1,000 or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, by the way, if you're listening to this, you have GME, fucking hold.
Okay. Or don't. We're not financial. We're not financial experts. You should not take this as any advice.
Listen. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen in all my 5 days of trading. Okay.
So, Colin, is your worst person GME?
It's not. So we're gonna change pace a little bit here. My worst person is Keemstar.
Okay, so I know him as the Drama Alert. Isn't that his show, Drama Alert?
Motherfucking hashtag Drama Alert. Yeah. So, and also at the top here, I'm going to be pulling a lot of information because I did find a pretty decent documentary about Keemstar and how he came to do the things that he does by Sunny V2 on YouTube. So if you want to know more about Keemstar, that's a pretty good video. It kind of sums up a lot of the stuff that happened with him. So Keemstar is a YouTuber, like Robert said, that does the Drama Alert show. He basically just talks about a lot of YouTube and streamer like drama and just a lot of it, or some of it, has got him in seriously hot water because some of the stuff that he says, he just straight up makes allegations towards people. And a lot of them are unfounded, and it can either get them into trouble or get him into trouble, or like get people's like accounts banned and put their livelihoods at stake. And even get them, you know, incriminated. Like they get them involved with the law in some capacity. Now that's happened in a few times in a few key cases, and I'll get to those. But I did want to talk about Keemstar a little bit. So I didn't actually know this, but Keemstar started out as a Halo streamer back in like the Halo 3 days. And that's how he got a start on the internet, really. And he would just get on there and talk major trash to people on Halo. And all of this started is because he got seriously fucking drunk bar hopping one night, came home, and started talking major shit on people on Halo 3 and Xbox Live, as a lot of people did, I guess, around that time.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess he got in a lobby with these people that were like basically a channel, like a network that does this. They make Halo 3 videos and they just talk major shit on people. And they use, you know, some seriously, you know, how Xbox Live lobbies were back then. Not pretty, like a lot of foul language going around, a lot of shit that would probably get you demonetized nowadays. He joined a network of content creators called FAG.
Which stands for Friendly Awesome Gamers.
I'm gonna have to look this up again, but Keemstar.
Family Advised Gaming.
Yeah.
G.
These were like the OG trolls, like that specifically went out, and if there's a female voice in voice chat, holy shit, we're gonna fuck with this person.
Yeah. The Federation of Asshole Gamers. That was an acronym.
Man, that's even worse.
Yeah, so it all comes back to gamers, unfortunately, guys.
Damn it.
Shitty, dude.
Shitty
Gamers.
So in the video that I watched, it goes on from there into like Call of Duty streaming. He did a lot of like Call of Duty streams later on after he left FAG, because FAG got shut down, to no one's surprise.
Wait. An organization that's all about spreading hate got shut down?
Who would have thought?
It's about fucking time.
Man, it's a good old days. Thank God QAnon's also been shut down.
Yeah. And so he ended up joining another fucking streaming service. Like, this is pre-Twitch, by the way. In the late aughts, early 2010s, called Battlecam TV, where you basically go back and forth and you argue with people, and basically people in the audience would watch the stream and vote on who won this argument.
Debate.
Okay.
Me.
So, and this is where an infamous video of Keemstar came out of him calling a black dude who was the moderator for this thing an N-word.
That's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah. So and that video, like, I guess still follows him to this day. And then beyond that, he goes into Modern Warfare streaming. He talks shit there. And it's to the point where he gets banned over and over by Microsoft off of Xbox Live, to the point where they bricked his console several times. And he talked about on a podcast that he had to return his Xbox like day after day almost to keep his streams going, just to get a new Xbox and make a new account and keep streaming, because he kept getting banned because he kept using foul language and, you know, getting in trouble.
Being a dick.
And he talks about it like it's no big deal.
But Colin, Microsoft is infringing on his free speech to be mean and hateful and spread bigotry.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, freedom of speech, guys, means freedom of consequences, right? You're not gonna get in trouble. You know, it's fine. You can call people the N-word and spew hate all you want and give death threats. It's fine.
Yeah, it's perfectly okay.
Yeah. So fast forward a little bit. He, I guess, to his claim, he was obsessed with the show Newsroom, which was that show all about like the journalists, like the fucking fake news channel is like a drama on HBO, whatever, and that's where he got the idea for doing Drama Alert. And that basically snowballed into Drama Alert, which is where he talks about all the drama on YouTube and with streamers. And that's where the toxicity starts to get really, really bad. Because among other things, he got involved with Bashiverse was the first really big one, and that's the one he talks about, where he basically accused this dude of being a pedophile when he really wasn't. And the Bashiverse made like several response videos like claiming like, hey, none of this is true, and he basically ruined this dude's streaming career because of it, and all of the claims were completely unfounded. Later, he goes on to hate on a 62-year-old dude who's a RuneScape streamer, and one of the people, this is what Keemstar alleges, one of the people on his team gave him a story about this dude that he is allegedly a pedophile, because they found in a database of sex offenders that there was this dude that was a pedophile, and because he looked like the 62-year-old streamer, the dude on his team just assumed that they were the same person. No other research beyond that.
You can find names.
Yeah.
That's why there's the database.
Beyond that. And so Keemstar goes on Drama Alert, raises the story, and openly accuses this RuneScape streamer of being a pedophile and basically completely ruins his life. Yeah.
Yeah, what a dick. It sounds like it's starting to feel like there's a thread here with all three of ours, in that these people represent themselves as fact tellers. No, don't ask questions, don't ask for evidence, but all of what I say is true.
Yeah.
But guess what, guys? I'm sorry to say it gets worse. So not only with the 62-year-old streamer, do people in the 62-year-old streamers, I can't remember his name and I apologize. He starts getting people in his chat, like coming into his chat and saying like, hey, you're a pedophile, fuck you, you piece of shit. And like, just all these people just hating on him just because Keemstar said so. And so like there had to be several like communications and apologies and blah, blah, blah. And Keemstar actually admits that like it was someone on his team that fucked up. I don't know if that's true. That's just what he says.
But he still said it.
And so this is around the time. Yeah. This is around the time that Ethan Klein from H3H3 started like coming out with his content nuke videos and stuff like that on Keemstar, and talking about how Keemstar did this, and that. And it was basically putting all of this stuff with the 62-year-old RuneScape streamer out there, among several other controversies. You should definitely go check it out, because there's just too much to talk about on the span of this podcast that Keemstar's gotten involved with. But the most damning thing was when he basically covered Atika, the streamer, the Nintendo streamer, for having a manic episode, basically having a breakdown. And Keemstar was like trying to get an interview when he was like in the middle of a manic episode, and he was like having a breakdown and like basically having thoughts of suicide and things like that. And I guess I should have said trigger warning. I apologize. But like, yeah, having thoughts of suicide, and like Keemstar was just like covering it and like basically bashing him for having a mental health episode all over his channel. And as we know now, Etika committed suicide.
You mean Etika, right? Isn't that?
Yes.
I thought it was Etika.
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 Yep. Etika. But yeah. That's when I first like realized that Keemstar was more than just like some kind of guy that talks about what PewDiePie did that week, and that he has a disturbing amount of influence, and B, that like there's no line that he seems unwilling to cross. Like, I had heard stuff about him talking about Eugenia Cooney, who's a well-known YouTuber that has struggled with an eating disorder over the years, and he like has hounded her about like, how much do you weigh? Tell me how much you weigh. I think that you're lying about your recovery. I think that you're this. But it's like, dude, where's your moral line? Like, it's one thing to be like, I want to be at like the cutting edge of like the latest scoop and, you know, report the news to people, versus like, I want to make drama so that I can call out people and air their dirty laundry.
Yeah, I don't follow him too closely because I guess I'm privileged enough to feel like I don't care about most YouTube drama, because most YouTube drama is pretty, you know, stupid, dumb, like
So
apology
petty.
video.
It's tabloid shit.
Yeah, it's worse than that, I would even say. But when you hear someone like Keemstar, who, I mean, I'm not gonna say he directly affected Etika's ultimate fate, but it probably didn't help. And
No.
as a journalist, I'm not going to call him a journalist, but he's someone who's definitely inspired to do what he thinks is journalism. Drama Alert is portrayed as a news show. He was inspired by a show that portrayed real journalists doing journalism things. A journalist doesn't egg on someone who has mental health issues to exacerbate their mental health issues. A journalist doesn't hear someone claim they have a mental health issue and then ask them questions saying, I think you're just lying, you sack of shit. Tell me how much you really weigh. Like, no. If you do wonder, you can just ask them politely, oh, how much do you weigh? You don't frame it like, you're a piece of shit liar. I'm here to scoop you. Tell me how much you weigh. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Keemstar, even before he had really started the Drama Alert thing, he had also been on several other YouTube channels doing various other things. He had started so many channels, and each one of them would actually get banned. And I think he started,
why.
it was like, I think almost a dozen channels or something. It was some crazy number of channels. He was talking about it on a podcast. And eventually it got to the point where he just went in on someone else's network and just became a part of their network. That way it wouldn't be his content first and foremost, but that way he could still output content on someone else's channel eventually, until he was able to start Keemstar proper with Drama Alert. Yeah. So he talks about too, he's like, you know, all this shit happened to me and I'm not going to stop. Like, I'm just going to keep going. Like, nothing can fucking stop me. And so nothing's going to stop this dude until he's like thrown in fucking jail at this rate. And like, I mean, he's doing a lot of harmful stuff, and he's just instigating a lot of things. That's the way he gets around it. He instigates it, but he doesn't directly incriminate himself. So I don't know if that means he's smart or...
Oh, let's not give him that credit.
Yeah. I don't know, but just Keemstar is just, he's just a terrible human being.
Yeah. The way he just carries himself, it has a very almost manic disregard for other people's well-being or safety, or I don't know, even not even happiness, but just like content or just general, you know, I'm not sad today kind of shit. I don't think he wakes up in the morning thinking, I want to cause as much sadness or chaos as possible. I just think he's going through life thinking, I'm going to do what I can to get the most views today, regardless of how much chaos or sadness it causes, which is a very dangerous place or dangerous mindset to have as a content creator, especially on YouTube.
Yeah. totally see why you brought him as your nomination, because I had also considered someone who is unfortunately being continually rewarded with views and recognition on YouTube for bad behavior. That's I'm J Station. Like he does those like, don't do this at 3 a.m. contacting Mac Miller's ghost the day after he died, or like my girlfriend died, but actually we broke up because we were in an abusive relationship and I made her tell her parents she was dead. That kind of fun stuff being, you know, rewarded with reviews or views and sponsorships. Isn't like Keemstar has like some sponsorships, which really gets to me. Doesn't he? Yeah. Wasn't he at G Fuel at one point?
He was a G Fuel sponsor, and after, especially after the content nuke shit from H3, he got dropped.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, as he should have been.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not gonna say that it's bad of G Fuel or any of his sponsors to have sponsored him, only because I think from their perspective, they're not really analyzing or evaluating the morality of the content. They're just seeing, oh, he gets big number, so we're gonna put our name in front of as many, like the biggest numbers possible. Right. So to them, Keemstar is a business transaction. He's just a cog in the machine. So that way we, as consumers, can pull out the name G Fuel real quick, lightning quick, right?
Yeah.
And that works. It's happened to backfire on them now because G Fuel is, well, at the time, at the very least, was super associated with someone like Keemstar.
Yeah. Keemstar, Dr. Disrespect. I mean, G Fuel is so wide reaching now, though, that like they have stuff to fall back on, unless you know, of course, those people were like, yeah, I don't want to have to do with these people anyway. But like, I don't know. I mean, G Fuel is fine without Keemstar, though. I mean, G Fuel is already a huge name as it is. But I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone should sponsor someone like Keemstar, and I think Keemstar represents the worst side of the internet, this side of the dark web. You know what I'm saying? People that, you know, watch content, you know, because the thing is, though, there's some sick part of us as human beings that like to see some sort of suffering or some sort of drama at, you know, it's something at the behest of others, right?
It's the classic you don't want to turn away from a car crash. Like,
exactly.
You want to keep looking.
And people take advantage of that, and they get views. I mean, it's wrong that they're getting rewarded for it, but human nature rewards them for it. And it sucks. And as long as Keemstar continues to go, people are going to watch his content. But sooner or later, I mean, there is like something's going to break, and he's going to push something a little too far, and it's going to. I mean, something's going to happen. It's going to be a big thing. I think anyway. And then someone's going to be doing a drama alert on Keemstar. Hey.
Then the cycle continues is probably what that would result in. And there's always going to be someone ready to take that place.
Exactly. And by the way, Keemstar has a kid, and God, do I feel bad for that kid? Just saying.
Keem Jr.
Yeah, just to be raised in a household where the dude shits all over mental health and doesn't believe in it. He literally doesn't believe in mental health. So, God, I can't imagine the childhood that kid's going to have.
It's almost like that's not a mentally healthy belief to have. No. Question mark.
No. You bunch of snowflakes. Just pull yourself up by your fucking bootstraps.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds like a direct quote.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, Keemstar's real shitty.
People fucking suck.
Yeah. I mean, I think it says a lot that he named his new show Drama Alert. Like, TMZ isn't called Drama Alert, you know what I mean? And TMZ is literally Drama Alert.
Yeah.
So, like, you know exactly what he's not going in to cover things as unpartisan as possible. He's going in to exacerbate drama, if not create it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If he can make it worse, it's better.
For him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the best
counts, right?
Yeah. I mean, and the best thing we can do is just hold people like him accountable, right? Like stuff like what Ethan's doing, at least and iDubbbz came in even way earlier than Ethan did about this whole thing. And just called him out for stuff. I think it was like 2016. iDubbbz did like a content cop video or something on the whole controversy. And even 2016, he was really controversial. So,
I mean,
yeah.
I've never known Keemstar as a positive figure on the YouTube.
No. He's never been a particularly positive, but he just hasn't. I don't know. He didn't really make the rounds until like about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. You know. But yeah. So I think that pretty much sums up my worst person.
And I'm sure you, the audience, might be wondering, well, these people are so bad. Why did my 3 best friends on the internet, who are the smartest people on the internet, of course, we're never wrong, why did they just spend the past hour telling me about him? Why did they give them a platform, I guess, to spread their ideas in a way?
Oh, shit.
And you know, I get that argument. It's the same reason that there were a lot of people, especially on the further left, who would say, don't say Trump's name anymore, because that's what he likes. Even if you're criticizing him, don't say Trump's name anymore, which that's fine. But you're also kind of complicitly allowing his views to feel more okay, because you're not saying Trump is bad. You're just saying that guy is bad.
The Dark Lord.
Yeah, and once you divorce it far enough, whoever that guy is starts to feel more like a mythical figure than an actual shitty human being. So don't take any of this as an endorsement to say you should check out Ben Shapiro or Abby Shapiro or Keemstar. Please don't. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're curious, do, in the same way of like watching a car crash.
Judgments, but
right.
Take our word for it. Not worth it.
Yeah, the reason I think that we set out to do this is so you understand when next time you see them in the wild. Maybe like we're obviously trying to alter your judgment about them, but we're talking about them because we want to alter your judgment about them. We want you to understand that these aren't people that are spreading a good message, or the way they're spreading their messages in very bad faith. I think that's more important, that you walk away from this knowing that, rather than you walking away thinking, actually, Ben Shapiro seems like a cool guy.
What was it? The thought leader, the cool kid of conservative YouTube or something.
The cool kid's philosopher.
Is he a kid? He's not a kid.
No, the cool kid's philosopher.
Oh. Point out these cool kids. I'm gonna go bully them. No.
Oh God. Yeah. No. 3 edgy 5.
I want their
5 me shit.
Lunch money from the cool kids. I was not a cool kid. I didn't ever have lunch money either.
Don't really feel like being with the cool kids. But,
sing us out, Colin. Sing us the rest of the song.
Exactly. I will sing you the song of my people. I know that like this podcast though, our gimmick is like, we try to be like, hold up a second, let's back up, let's step back and look at both sides here, like everything in moderation, right? Like kind of just let's look at this and be realistic. And so I think that there isn't much debate, at least for me, when it comes to people that argue in bad faith. That has nothing to do with your viewpoints, right? Your beliefs, your values. That's one thing. But if you're volatile in the way that you spread them, if you're really just arguing in bad faith again, you're just not coming from a place of
understanding.
What good comes from that, no matter where you land in your belief system, Mm-hmm. So
yeah. And another form of bad faith is saying, I am someone who accepts all the facts, but then you actually only accept the facts that matter to you or that make you look good.
Right.
That's a pretty bad faith argument.
It's called cherry picking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like when Ben Shapiro tweeted about that picture of that dude in the Capitol with the zip tie handcuffs, and his argument was, I have zip ties. I know a lot of people with zip ties. Am I going to call them terrorists now? Like, you son of a bitch. That's not what he brought those zip ties in for, and you fucking know it. You can see it in his eyes.
You can't remove fucking context when it's convenient for you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. But anyways, guys, do you guys have anything else to say before we wrap up? Because I think we're in a pretty good spot.
Debate me.
Yeah, fight me, IRL. No,
fight me, IRL.
I don't know. I hope this was cathartic in some ways for you, but also next week we're going to talk about horny VTubers. So I mean, yeah, if you need positivity, you got next week.
Yeah, that's the plan anyway. We were talking though, like we are keeping just to acknowledge it. We are keeping an eye on the whole stonks thing with GME and AMC and the stock market, GameStop, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Dogecoin too, by the way.
Doge.
You know about Doge?
I thought this was all about turnips.
I still don't know how to say that.
Doge.
I'm so
turnips.
Confused. Yeah, the stock
I
market.
thought it was so. Remember when people were selling turnips? That was the stock market back in the early pandemic days.
Oh my god, it's been a year since Animal Crossing, hasn't it? Almost.
Animal Crossing is still here, y'all. I promise you.
Oh, no, it stopped after March 21.
No.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we have our eyes on it, and so we might change our content schedule around if necessary. But we'll keep you posted. You'll know about it. But other than that, this has been Everything in Poderation. It's been pretty good. Thank you guys for listening. You guys can follow us on all the socials at Everything in Pod, everythingin.pod at Gmail if you want to reach out to us. Otherwise, have a good day.
Smash that like button.
Subscribe.
Eat that subscribe.